edge of a whisper. Our voices trapped deep and so low, but the words now rise like the oceans and the sadness that only we know. Woman, adult, human, female, not hard to define, but they twist and turn, they blur the line. Women's dignity discarded, our rage begins to build a tidal wave they can't conceive. Let women speak, let the truth ring clear. We've been shouting, but they refuse to hear. Breaking the...
Hi, good afternoon. How the devil are you? I am going to start doing regular live streams again. But it will come out in the wash and you can be cued in. You can be somethinged in. Anyway, look, I thought I would share with you. So if you're on YouTube right now, you will find all these nice little things at the bottom of the screen. This is a tiny, tiny little woman bracelet. I can't do it like the whoever. I've got old lady hands. In fact, I've got old lady toddler hands. So, you know. Anyway, this is a little woman bracelet. And you've got daughter and sister. And then I've got my bigot bracelets on. They're only a tenner. They're all half price. I'm just trying to get my stockroom a bit more empty. So if you want to take advantage of my generous nature, you can get a nice little adjustable bigot bracelet. It was one of the wonderful women who come to Let Women Speak, to Speaker's Corner. So anyway, couple of things first. Number one, I'm going to tell you all about my son. Anyway, whilst you get your cups of tea, have a little look at this.
My hands shaking and frail, a wedding dress, a prison cell. They tied the knot, a silken thread. My childhood dreams already dead. I leave my teddy at the door. He said I can't see him anymore. The day the orders came, all girls are now fair game, hoping I would disappear. I am only 10 this year. No one hears, no one sees, just a girl on my knees. Freedom has left me all alone. come and save me, please. Won't someone save me, please?
Wasn't it uplifting and lovely and joyous? Um, it's my massive Disney epic. If you don't know anything about it, then um, Moomin UK looks AI. Well, bugger me. You mean I don't have the actual budget for a proper animation? No, I don't. And yet I'm still extraordinarily pleased with myself. Um, make your own. It only took about a week. So, okay. Uh, Down below, if you're on YouTube, you can pick up lots of bargains and you're going to help me. That's what's going to happen. And we've also got these bag straps. Summer's coming. So you have a nice bag strap. You can just be turfing wherever you go. I don't know if you lovely people saw. Oh, and my final thing. Look, I'm going to sell you stuff because I need the money. I'm not going to lie. I can't do this without cash. I can't keep justifying to my husband like why I haven't got a real job. So um he's fine with everything. Uh but I do a lot of activism, and so if you wanted me to continue doing activism, you're going to need to get some merch. Look, it's a nice little trolley token. It's a woman, adult, human, female. Or you can get a Union flag one that says Turf Island, or a little suffragette Turf Island flag. Anyway, so I was with Turning Point. I'm going to link it into what happened with my son. But I was with Turning Point and I faced students who have been through the school system just ahead of my son. And my kids are really lucky because I knew about this before they did. Now, many of you won't have children that knew about this before you did. You won't have talked to your children about this stuff before their schools started talking to them about it. And I'm not in that position. And so all of my kids knew before anybody else talked to them about it. They knew that it was all shit. Now, oh, yeah. So what we have is we have a load of kids at Sussex University who came. Oh my god, there's something in this office. Who came out to basically shout at us. So I was with Turning Point UK, and it just started with these two blokes just rocked up. Now, as I understand it, a call went out as soon as they saw the Turning Point name sign. A call went out on their sort of what's it called? Wanker chain, something. I don't know. I suspect it's called that. It might have a technical term, but it just went out like, oh my God, there's people here who are talking about things that we might not like. And so they all came out, started with two men about my age, just shouting Nazi scum off our campus. Look, credit to them. They have like changed the wording for Nazi scum off our streets. But I was really, really disappointed, I have to say, that what they couldn't do is they couldn't remember the Posey Parker You Can't Hide. You've got Nancy on your side. They forgot that one. So that was quite disappointing. But anyway, they came out. They had they had some fun. So I was really I wasn't frightened, but I was really deeply concerned. Like I haven't been going out with security for a while because I just can't afford it. And I must say, Laura and I ended up running to the car because the police turned up. There's quite a lot of the police after about an hour. There was quite a lot of police. And I was feeling a bit better. And then they went. And I don't blame the organisers. The organisers aren't used to me. But I'm used to activists turning up. So we work with the police a lot, and I'm not saying anything that the organisers didn't, but I don't think they were really prepared for the sort of vitriol we received that day. And I guess the difference between, it might just be because I'm a middle-aged woman, but I think it's probably because it's me. So anyway, so we ended up running to the car, Laura and I, and then she ended up crashing her car a little bit into somebody else's car in the car park. And then we had to retrospectively contact the college and to sort of say, this has happened. We're very sorry. But we were genuinely quite worried because there were about 3 or 4 police that were about my size come the end of it. And what always happens with the police is they come out and there's 2 sides. There's us, we're the aggressors because we've got opinions and we want to speak. So we're annoying and aggressors. And I have to remind you all at the moment that the Met Police, when they were doing training, they all, when my name was said, they booed and hissed. Right, that was part of their training. They booed and hissed. So anyway, the police come out and there's shit. Um, and we stay till 3:30. I think we were supposed to finish at 3. We stay a little bit longer. We don't really get any useful conversations out of the whole thing. But why am I mentioning that? Well, and because I probably should have mentioned it days ago, but I've been a bit busy. And then this thing happened with my son, and you might remember I did a bit of a Lego thing about what happened. So anyway, so my first thing is I'm I'm going to be doing more events outside, and I'm going to do another turning point one. And in order for me to do that, I'm going to need to have close protection, people of my own, where we plan a sort of escape route. And just let me say again, Nick and the Turning Point boys were fantastic, wonderful, perfect. Um, but I need to be in control of my own safety. And so yeah. So if 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 you can do some of these, that will help me continue what I'm doing. I mean, obviously, sometimes there must be a legacy of some hangover from what happened in New Zealand. So yeah, I think I don't know. I don't know if they would have caught us. I don't know if they want to, but sometimes these kids can get really excited and they genuinely think that you don't have a right to go and say what you want to say. And why don't they think they have a right that I have a right to speak? Like they're really quite, oh well, can I say this? And I was like, yes, you can say that. Or what about if I told you to fuck off? Well, you can say that. There are certain situations where you can't say that, but you have you're allowed to say that as long as you don't follow me around the street shouting it and it verges into harassment or incitement. Of course, you're allowed to say it. Anyway, let's crack on. So, let me tell you, we'll start from the beginning. I'm not going to share these letters with you because they do contain people's names. So, on the 19th of March, I received this letter. And it was to my son, and it was sent to me via email and post. Dear X, the purpose of this letter is to confirm you had a meeting on the 19th of March at 12 o'clock with blah blah to discuss your recent behavior on the 17th of March, which broke the following rules of positive behavior management policy. Respectful. So that was one of the behaviors. The students are expected to respect people, value diversity. What the actual? And are committed to equality, ensuring a positive and professional learning environment in which all people are treated with respect and dignity. It is the responsibility of everyone to behave in a safe manner and not to put themselves or others at risk. I might remind you that I did write to the college when I saw some Afghan men hanging around who look like they haven't been here very long. And you can attribute all these other things to me if you want about why I make these assumptions, but and I know that there is a difference with somebody who lives here and has been here quite a long time and people that look like they've just arrived. And these are clusters of men who look like they're from Afghanistan or maybe they're Kurdish. I don't know. But they're in groups and they're between the ages of like 38, 40, 50 years old. And I wrote to the college and I asked what they were doing to keep the children safe because there's 16-year-old girls there and they don't always dress particularly appropriately. Obviously, that's a human right issue. Um, and they don't do anything, right? So this is, you have to behave in a safe manner, but at the same time, you can be in a unisex toilet with a 50-year-old bloke from Afghanistan. So that really works, doesn't it? And then the other behavior is collaborative. It is the responsibility of students to engage with blah staff and other students to develop a positive relationship and work together to promote an active group learning environment. It requires them to be on time, in the right place, correctly equipped, and ready to learn in all cases. So he's received this behavior. So those are the two things that he's done wrong. This is the behavior policy. I don't agree with the behavior policy. I think it's ridiculous. And I think if it meant that you're not allowed to piss around in classes, I would totally support that. But that isn't what this governs at all. So remembering those were the two bits of the policy that they highlighted, and this is what he was done. This is what he did. You were caught talking to X, Y, and Z about your ideological views. You were midway through a diatribe on why being part of the LGBTQI plus QIA plus. That just says twat straight away, as far as I'm concerned. Anyone that uses all of those letters is a twat. Community should be considered a mental illness or condition, /. So this isn't someone that can really report exactly what he said. And they later said that he'd been overheard. So that's also bullshit. I have since had a meeting with you, making it absolutely clear that making comments like that is deeply offensive and ideologically abhorrent. Well, Mr. Teacher, fuck you. And in no way appropriate to be preaching within the walls of the college. This is just so dripping with judgment. It's terrible. We talked about what effect saying such things may have on your peers and staff. You were receptive to the feedback and promised you would never talk this way in college again. So I would like to take this opportunity to remind you that this is a written warning. Remain active on your student record for 3 months, after which they can become spent but will remain on your student record. So that's what we're dealing with. Now, what he actually did, what he actually said is words to the effect of, and he recalls it in one particular way, and the teacher says something else. And I'm going to tell you what the teacher said, and then I'll tell you what he said. And I don't give a shit what the teacher said. Even if he did say that, I think he has a right to, which is what they said is that he said people in the LGBT community are likely to have mental health conditions. Now, if he said that, what we do know is that according to all the charities that deal with LGBTQI plus bullshit, will all say that these people have higher rates of suicide, higher rates of depression, more likely to feel isolated, yada, 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 at school, colleges, workplace, etc., which is why you have to let 50-year-old men put on a dress and wank in the women's toilets. Okay? So that's another thing we know. We know from their own propaganda that they are more likely to have mental health illness conditions or whatever. So what my son says is that his friends were once again talking about this whole trans pansexual bullshit issue. And what he did is he questioned the whole thing and said, don't, like in a questioning way, don't people in that community have more mental health conditions, right? Or words to the effect. I don't want to misquote him, but it's nothing better or worse than that. And you could even say, he could have even said, as far as I'm concerned, they're all men. If you think you're born in the wrong body, you're mental. And that would have been perfectly fine by me, and legally and lawfully, that would also have been perfectly fine. Anyway, so I was quite annoyed by this, as you can quite imagine. So I then wrote to the college leader of all campuses across the county in which I live. And this is what I wrote. It's quite long. It's not too bad. I'm writing to formally escalate a complaint concerning the disciplinary action taken against my son. a student at the X campus, following an incident on the 17th of March. Despite an initial meeting with senior staff, I remain deeply concerned that the decision to issue a formal written warning for gross misconduct was neither lawful, proportionate, nor procedurally fair. And can I just say, before I wrote this letter, I went to see a woman and I've put that conversation out for everyone to hear. And she thought it was justified that just on one sentence that he could get this gross misconduct warning and a permanent mark on his record. So this was so you have on each campus, you have like a CEO or whatever, and then this is the CEO of all of the campuses. As a publicly funded institution, the college is bound by the Human Rights Act of 1998 and must be in accordance with Article 10 of the European Convention on Human Rights. Let me just say, I am fully aware that I'm using an act that I think should be scrapped, and I'm using like the whole thing I think is bullshit. But my son wouldn't be in the situation if we didn't have all these protected characteristics nonsense. If he was just expected to behave in a reasonable and polite manner, and it didn't really matter about protected characteristics, we wouldn't be in this situation. So let me just say that without the Article 10 of the European Convention on Human Rights, he wouldn't be able to talk about it. But if we didn't have the Human Rights Act and we weren't part of the European Convention, we wouldn't even have the Gender Recognition Act. None of those things would have happened. Okay, this includes a duty to protect the expression of lawful opinions, including those that may be controversial or give rise to disagreement. The statement attributed to my son, expressed in a conversation with peers, does not meet any recognized legal threshold for harassment, discrimination, or unlawful speech. No evidence has been presented that the comment was targeted, threatening, or abusive. During the meeting with the executive director, I sought a clear explanation how a single statement met the threshold for gross misconduct. No clear or consistent rationale was provided. Instead, the justification repeatedly relied upon that it was two students felt upset or uncomfortable. When asked directly whether this was alone was sufficient to justify such a serious disciplinary finding, I was informed that in this instance it was. This raises serious concerns. It suggests that colleges applying a standard by which subjective offence or discomfort is treated as sufficient grounds for formal disciplinary sanction. That approach is incompatible with established principles of freedom of expression and creates an environment in which lawful speech is curtailed on the basis of an individual reaction. Further concerns arise from the content of the disciplinary letter itself, the language used, including terms such as ideologically abhorrent, diatribe, and preaching, is emotive, subjective, and inappropriate in a formal disciplinary context. It gives a clear impression that the decision was influenced by disagreement with the viewpoint expressed, rather than by any objective assessment or misconduct. It was also acknowledged during the meeting that elements of the process and the wording of the letter may have been inappropriate, and that further contextual exploration should have taken place before issuing a formal warning. The college has also suggested that similar views may have been expressed previously. However, no prior concerns have ever been formally raised with my son. No warnings have been issued. No opportunity has been given for him to understand or respond to any alleged pattern of behavior. It is not procedurally fair to rely on unsubstantiated assertions of prior conduct to justify escalation to gross misconduct. I also note that during the meeting there appeared to be some uncertainty regarding the relevant protected characteristics and how these relate to college's policy. Given that allegations of harassment and discrimination rely on correct application of these concepts, this raises further concern as to whether the applicable legal framework is clearly understood and consistently applied in decisions of this seriousness. So they have gender, they don't have sex protections, just to let you all know. More broadly, I'm concerned that the college's current approach risks creating a chilling effect in which students may feel unable to express lawful views on contested issues for fear of disciplinary consequences. This is particularly concerning in an education setting, where open discussion and the exchange of differing viewpoints should be encouraged. If students come to believe that expressing a lawful but unpopular opinion may result in a formal sanction. This risks undermining confidence in the college's commitment to open dialogue and intellectual development. In light of the above, I request that this matter is reviewed at CEO level and that the following actions are taken. 1. Immediate withdrawal of the finding of gross misconduct and removal of the written warning from his record. A written apology acknowledging that the disciplinary response and associated language were inappropriate and disproportionate. A review of the college's policies and their application to ensure compliance with legal obligations relating to freedom of expression and procedural fairness. Written clarification of the standards applied in determining gross misconduct in this case. And that following any review of the college's policies, clear communication is provided to students affirming the college's commitment to freedom of expression within the law, including reassurance that lawful views may be expressed without fear of disproportionate disciplinary action. If this matter cannot be resolved satisfactorily, I will be pursuing the college's formal complaints process to its conclusion and seeking an independent external review. Given the seriousness of the issue, I want a response within 14 days. Are we all with us? Are we all with us? So he said one sentence. This was confirmed that was enough to get gross misconduct. So this is what the action that I took. Did quite a serious letter. Can I just say, a lot of people are saying it's because he's my son, and that might be something that you could take comfort in, because then it's not going to happen to your son. I'm going to tell you, I don't think it's anything to do with who I am. I don't. It might be that I've been listened to because of who I am, but I don't think this college is any different to any school, college, or university up and down this country. I genuinely don't. So you have to, if somebody comes for your child in this way, you have to go absolutely full on serious. It's not enough. I don't want just an apology for my son. I mean, he now doesn't want to go to college. He doesn't want to go back to that college. He doesn't want to go to a place where a teacher, a person in a position of authority, has told him he thinks he's abhorrent. And I don't blame him. I mean, I probably would, because I've got a bit of a how dare you attitude, but not everybody has. So he doesn't want to go back. He's going to find somewhere else to go. So this year, actually, academically, will be a waste. So anyway, so we got this. Dear Kelly J, I've now responded. I've now had the opportunity to consider your email dated 9th of April and to look into the matters you have raised. The college aims to create an environment which balances robust rights to freedom of expression with appropriate and proportionate interventions where the exercise of those rights crosses into harm, such as unlawful harassment to other learners and members of the college community. This balance requires a judgment to be made, and I'm satisfied, despite our best intentions, that on this occasion the correct balance has not been achieved. Accordingly, I'm rescinding the finding against your son and withdrawing the warning that was issued to him. It's been removed from his record. On behalf of the college, I apologize to him and to you for the way this matter has been handled. We will be in contact with X to facilitate and support his return to studies as swiftly and smoothly as possible. The learnings from Artemis case will be fed into our forthcoming review of our policies, processes, and the standards of conduct we expect from our learners, as well as the training we offer our staff about the handling of issues related to freedom of expression. Oh, Kelly J. Anyway, just pretend you didn't hear that. Anyway, I just think we are in a time, if we don't start, so I've got some of the things I've asked for, right, in that letter. I've got an apology. I've got the removal of that. I've got that it will be fed into forthcoming review of our policies. And for me, I want those. I want a policy review now. Like, that's what I'm asking for. I don't want another kid at that college Like there's kids at that college that pretend to be the opposite sex. I don't want a single girl not being able to say anything. I don't want another child not to be able to say anything within that campus. I want to make an example of that campus so that this actually feeds throughout the education system that, if you fuck up like this, if you actually make an environment hostile, if you bully a 17-year-old on the basis of his lawful views, his lawful belief. I mean, it can be, it could be an abhorrent belief. It's fine. You can have abhorrent beliefs. You can be hateful as far as I'm concerned. You can do all those things. When you're having a conversation with your friends, you can be a dick. You can. But I really want us to change these environments so that schools are frightened to do this. There needs to be an article in the bloody Education Times supplement that says, "Oh, this college, they really fucked up on somebody's right to free speech. They really screwed up with this kid. He didn't want to come to college anymore. He lost the progress of a whole academic year in education. Like, that's what happened to that kid. And because of that, that college had to do this. That's what I want. I want an urgent response to policy change to ensure that every single member of staff and every single student in that college understands that you are allowed to say things that is controversial. And those kids that were supposedly upset by his view, I want them to be told tough shit. If you don't like something that someone's saying, that's on you. They're your feelings to manage. Now, that doesn't mean that you're allowed to harass someone and kids can get bullied and then everyone has to be fine. That means that you are going to have to face the world that you actually live in, which is people are going to say things that you don't like sometimes. And you're not going to take that to university. So you think that you're justified in crowding round and following two fucking women 5'1" to their car and making them feel intimidated because they're going to say things that you don't like. Like, you're going to grow the fuck up. So I'm now going to have to write back and compare what I've asked for and what I've been offered, and say that actually I think this is so devastating. This is I feel the way that they've handled this situation, I feel more upset than that poor, disgraceful teacher when he decided to have a little tete-a-tete with my son and make my son feel really deeply embarrassed and intimidated, which I don't mind teachers embarrassing children if they're badly behaved. I'm not that precious about it. But he had a good relationship with my son, and he felt that he was so fucking righteous that he could have my son in that classroom. He could tell my son off. He was obviously disagreed ideologically with my son because nobody else got told off about discussing this issue. And he felt so personally aggrieved, this teacher, that he just threw caution to the wind when he put this shit in writing. And then when I saw the executive director, she backed up that was okay, that he could have had this formal warning, that was, that did tick enough boxes for gross misconduct. So I'm going to pursue this, and until I see written policy change and a commitment to ensuring that everybody in the college understands some sort of free speech, I don't know, maybe I'll go and fucking offer to go and do a talk about what is the importance of free speech and why colleges like them need to listen up. In fact, that is what I'm going to offer. That's my next offer to the college. I will come and talk to them about what it is like as a person who's been persecuted by the police for words that I have said, and how they are totally annihilating the resilience of children to be able to hear things that they don't like by taking this sort of action. I mean, at 17 years old, students who were upset by what he said should have been told just to grow the fuck up. Toughen up, kids. So that's how I'm feeling about the whole thing. It is a ticking time bomb. The way these children are being treated. Um, like, let's look at just these kids involved. You have two kids that think that if someone says something they don't like and disagree with, that they can get them silenced. In fact, they can be removed from college. If you hear something, one sentence, 10 sentences, whatever, it's so devastating that that person can then be removed from college by the actions of the college, right? So what they learnt there, that things that you don't, that it's perfectly legitimate and normal to be so upset, personally upset and offended by things that people say that you don't agree with. So what that lesson have they learnt there? What's going to happen when that doesn't happen? Who are they going to tell on? Where are they going to go? They've also learnt that um, teachers probably have ideological positions, and I would imagine the teacher discussed that with them. I don't know that, but I suspect that the teacher, because the teacher came back, that apparently the teacher overheard it and then came back in and then discussed it with these children, right? Um, so we don't know. Um, what what children like my son have learned is you can feel suffocated all day long with people saying things that you don't agree with that you think are fucking insane. Like trans women are women, like the kid that's attending the school, the college, pretending to be a lesbian, some boy, that they're really stunning and brave. So he has to listen to all this, feeling suffocated that he can't speak, because if he does speak, then he's going to get some sort of disciplinary action by the college, um, or he's going to lose his friends, um, or you put up or shut up, or you have to lie and pretend and go along with it. And how many conversations do you think that children that have learned there's a social capital and power structure to having these conversations? How often do you reckon they're talking about it? Like, probably a lot. Probably a lot. Um, so you either don't speak, you lie, um, or you risk punishment. Like, that's the lesson here. That's the lesson here. So he's going to go to a different college, and he now knows that he can't talk about this stuff. No matter what anyone says, he's going to have to find a creative way of not joining in the conversation. Um, and he knows that it's going to be really, really difficult, considering some of his the things that he would like to spend time doing is art, and drama and different arts things that actually in that industry it's really difficult. um I got another one of my children who's just joined a hobby group, and um they just hope that nobody asks about where they live or like what their names are, and it's fucking outrageous. But it's no good. It's no good just stepping back and hoping that this is not going to happen to your kids, because it's going to. You're going to have to, we are going to have to be on the offensive. A little bit of me thinks the Supreme Court ruling actually, whilst clearly, so I'm just trying to get that the right way around. Clearly, for women, Scott did a wonderful thing. They had to. They had to follow it. They couldn't have stopped. They had to follow it all to the Supreme Court. But I do wonder what good it's done. And actually, I think in many ways, it's allowed the government to kick this into the long grass. So I just want to remind you all, it's so not over. And just relying on the Supreme Court is not going to do anything. And what that does is it means that people go, yeah, we looked at the Supreme Court and we're taking legal advice. And that means they don't do anything about it. The charity sector's fucked. The education system is fucked. The police service is fucked. The entertainment, leisure, everything. So you are going to have to start doing the thing that I did, which is to go kind of pretty nuclear in a response. Pretty nuclear. Like, really like I will sue you into bankruptcy kind of nuclear. You know, there's that. I believe the reason they took me seriously is there was a definite escalation promise at the end of that letter if they didn't come up with the goods. Um, I don't know. You tell me. Look, if you oh, let me just tell you a couple of coming up things. So this weekend we are in Ipswich, and then we're at Speaker's Corner for Let Women Sing, which for some reason is not. Sorry, we're not. Yeah, we're at So Let Women Speak. 25th of April, 26th of April, we are at Marble Arch, and then over to Speaker's Corner. Bring your money. I'm going to bring some merch. It's wonderfully cheap. Bring cash. If you can bring cash, that's amazing. Then we don't have to worry about the reception of the card reader. So come along to Let Women Speak in Ipswich. We'll have a merch table. You can get yourself some fantastic bargains. And remember, if I want to do public stuff, I am going to need to get some close protection again. I don't want to have to run to a car. That was terrifying. And then we're at Let Women Speak is Bournemouth on the 23rd of May. And then we got Let Women Speak London again on the 31st of May. And can I just say this to you, lovely, lovely people? 16th of May, I'm speaking at Unite the Kingdom. Oh my God, it's going to be brilliant. I think there'll be more people than last time. It's incredible. It's polite. It's all the things that you want in an event. It's just there's something happening in this country, and if you're not part of the fight back, then you're part of its demise, I'm afraid. And you're just going to have to you're just going to have to hang around with like-minded people and just come. That's what's going to have to happen. Anyway, if you can put your big girl pants on and come to Unite the Kingdom, then everything's going to be amazing. I promise we will win. If you can ensure that you are doing the offensive moves in your kids' schools and colleges and your NHS and so on, then I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Well, because I never lose.
They say convert, pay up or die, and they look you in the eye, knowing you believe the lie that inclusion was everybody's friend, when the truth now we all know that was the beginning of the end. You didn't fight back, you failed to resist, and now the country is under their fist. No sun, no fun, no sky. All the music now must die. No more thinking thoughts, shatter your council, schools and courts. Welcome to Britain under the brand new caliphate. You're no longer free. Cover your face, your hair, your feet. You're now enslaved in a British caliphate. Don't you love the British caliphate? Have one wife, 3 or 4, when they're knocking on your door, asking if you're reciting the Quran, telling you you're gay and stoning you today. No matter if you're a woman or a man, you didn't say no, you failed failed, so it seems. And now you are under the Islamic regime. No laugh, no dance, no art. Kill animals through their heart. No more thinking thoughts. Sharia council, schools and courts. Welcome to Britain under the brand new caliphate. You're no longer free. Cover your face, your hair, your feet. You're now enslaved in a British caliphate. Don't you love the British caliphate? They steal your daughter for their wife and imprison her for life, saying she's old enough at 9. They will exterminate your dog, a scorpion to your frog. Don't complain, just keep saying you are fine. It's far too late, you're way out of time. About 10 years ago, that was the line. No Christian or infidel. The whole place feels like hell. No more thinking thoughts. Sharia council, schools and courts. Welcome to Britain under the brand new caliphate. You're no longer free. Cover your face, your hair, your feet. You're now enslaved in a British caliphate. Don't you love the British caliphate? From the cities to the town, all the people wear a frown as they hear the horrendous call to prayer. Getting elected into power every minute, every hour. By next week, a Muslim will be your mayor. No more thinking thoughts. Sharia council, schools and courts. Welcome to Britain under the brand new caliphate. You're no longer free. Cover your face, your hair, your feet. You're now